understanding the 12 windows of the soul that are opened up to the sun and the moon, which is the inheritance upon the earth of earth, saying that the moon is an earth-like planet. The inheritance is the rise and the fall to one or the other, being born into the world again as a baby, that does not see itself. Therefore, it does not exist until we teach it to exist. The irony of the great imagination. If the world began with Adam and Eve, and they knew nothing until they ate from the tree of knowledge and became afraid and understanding of their own bodies, until they clothed themselves from fear of seeing one another naked, and the great conflict that it caused in whatever matters, until they were clothed in the animal skins or hides. The inheritance of the children relies upon those who are chosen in a unity with the favored one, saying that the window is open in all 12 astrological signs through one speaker of the Lord, and it either is to the sun or to the moon, like it reads in the book of Enoch 71, when it talks about the time charts and tables of how the earth and the moon rotate between the sun touching the backside of the moon, and the sun doing the same thing with the earth touching the backside of the earth. Understanding the orbit of it by Azrael, who had taught me the motions of the moons, that, or earths, that there is hope in another world and other worlds after that, unless we let money hold us down, or the world can think that it is righteous to steal from a poor man, like it's already written in this astrologer books with these divinations. And all these people, when sacrifices upon us, even the fall of Shem, saying that mostly women are the exalted ones in the church, when the preacher is filled with a stripper or houses that consider themselves to be whore, or even military men that are with the head of a woman, which is mostly destruction. And this is the irony of the church in edifying the body of Jesus Christ in Ephesians 4. But with all that matter set aside, claiming that it is good, bad, and ugly, and it all belongs to Jesus Christ, for he was the one crossed with all people's iniquities, and lifted up in heaven above the orboard is Pythionis, the 6 heads, or the 6 eyes, 1 head, 1 church head. That is the speaker of the Lord. That's the orboard is Pythionis, the mark 666, which is the flesh and the blood that Jesus already had given his life to, that the people of God can remain strong in all persecutions with all people's iniquities, for the inheritance of the children in a bright shining sun, or for the inheritance of the children in the illuminated moon, and the children are born as two from one or the other. These are the bowl of souls, or the places of rest before the stars' inheritance. If there is an inheritance to the stars, and I exclaim that this is quite possible the final deed of Delphi with Hercules, when I exclaimed that it is not right for interracial relationships to steal the soul of God that ultimately belongs to God Almighty at childbirth, when the child has no choice, that if the soul can be, let's say all is born through Jesus Christ, or all is born through Anakim, or Orion, or Zeus, whoever, whatever the matter, all has to be born through one God, and that God gives his soul, but the woman chooses to kill herself with the interracial favors, and the child is forced to carry that sin, that iniquity. It is stated as a sin in the Dead Sea Scrolls, which plagued and diseased a great multitude of people, and then the man-made laws were written: greed, vanity, lust, gluttony, pride, sloth, wrath, etc., and whatever laws that follow behind it, to consider a fairness in judgment. It can only be judgment unless one can see like a child and get past that judgment and move forward with his words and his thoughts and his hands and his feet. And this is the irony of judgment, is being able to move forward. And this is why Jesus Christ gave his life, so that his chosen and loyal, devoted subjects could move forward and continue on doing good things in his speech and his thoughts and his hands and his every step, even when he stumbles, by the weak who had fell. For the unlawful or unrighteous or good, bad, and ugly, even the good or righteous are judged. So I can't say that it's only the bad people. It's also the good people, but only because we don't see like a child. When a kid can get up and brush the dirt off his bottom and play with that kid who pushed him down, and for a minute moment of hatred or disobedience to a childlike mind, anger, whatever the matter, and continue moving. But we are with a law who has made everything so strict, and nobody is committing anything bad because there's nothing to commit bad when they've taken everything away, considering that it is bad or something that needs to be regulated by a law. A law has made themselves boring, and I've written presidents of the United States saying that they need to open up the law a little bit more, and they need to take the Constitution and reset it and speak in the streets and let the river flow again. Even God comes down with his enlightened ones and speaks purity, whether it is a fair, just law, a righteous law, or something that is unfair. There's even a good, bad, and ugly in all things, but I resent that statement. Only a fair, good, righteous law will God come down. Alright, I'm done.